Thank you
Great.
so much, Hector, for being on the show here. It's a real honor. You sent me a little bit of your bio, but one thing I noticed when I looked at the leaderboard, your agency is actually number one, right, in premium?
Yeah, year to date, we're first in premium in the nation, which we're grateful for. There's a lot of great premium agents out there. I know you're at the top of that board as well, but yeah, we're leading the company right now.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you sent me your bio, you didn't even include that. That's like the first thing. That's like the most
Yeah,
important, number to me almost.
yeah, premium matters, man. That's how the company makes money and how we get paid. So we like premium.
So yeah, I was just asking, before we talk about your great, year so far as premium, tell me a little bit about how you got started. Well, even before that, like where'd you grow up? How'd you end
Sure.
up in becoming a, insurance agency owner?
Yeah, good question. So currently I live in Pearland, which is a suburb of Houston. And my family and I have lived here for about 15 years. I'm a native Texan. I grew up in the East Texas area and actually came to Farmers. I was in a different career. I say career, I was actually going to college, but I was working and was moving to Houston because I was becoming engaged to my now wife of 19 years. And I didn't know this, but one of my customers, I told him I was leaving and moving to Houston, and he was a district manager for Farmers. And I didn't know what that was. And he said, his name is Lewis Hudson. He chewed on a cigar and kind of had a raspy voice like this. And he was like, Hector, what are you going to do when you move to Houston? I said, I don't know, Mr. Hudson. I'm going to get a job and finish school. He said, you need to go to work for Farmers. And I said, okay, how do I do that? And he connected me with his son, who was a DM here in Houston. And he got me a job working in an agent's office. And I did that for 2 years while I was going to school at night, and finally graduated, and had intended to work with Farmers immediately, but we had what was called the mold crisis at that time here in Texas. And there was a lot of legislative issues around insurance, and I didn't feel like it was the right time to open up an agency. So I left Farmers for 5 years and pursued a different career field. And but I always missed insurance, because through insurance I felt like we got to help people. In
Mhm.
my other career, I was making a lot of money, but I didn't feel like I was helping anybody other than myself. So I came back to Farmers and interviewed with some other agencies. I say agencies, other brands, but kept coming back to Farmers, and I'm glad I did. So that's kind of what's led me here. And November of '07 will be our anniversary date. I think that will be, at that point, we'll be entering into our 14th year as agency owner.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I started in August of 2007, so yeah, around the same time.
Yeah, man. We could have been in career school together, Dan.
I know.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm
I'm,
still friends with some of the people I went to career school with.
yeah, I'm sure you weren't because I don't think there's anyone from my class that is still an agent.
Yeah, there's not very many of us either. No, I would definitely remember you.
Yeah, yeah,
We,
I remember you
yeah,
too.
yeah.
But isn't it crazy how just by chance, Lou was a DM and just by chance, right? He was just your client. He was just your customer.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'd known him for 4 years and I didn't know what he did. I knew he had a lot of money
Hmm.
because he drove really nice cars, and I was a service writer. That's what I did. When you bring your car into the shop, that's
Okay.
what I would take down, like what was wrong with it. And I would make sure Mr. Hudson had a ride to wherever he was going and call him when his car was ready. And, but he always dealt with me because he liked me, but I didn't know what he did.
Hmm.
Um, and through that, just, I call it sharing the gospel that is Farmers. And I'm so grateful that he saw fit to give me that opportunity that many years ago. And I got the experience working in an agent's office, and then for 2 years, and then 5 years after, Farmers welcomed me back as an agency owner. Um, and then they opened the door and we just kicked the son of a gun open.
Yeah, he got off to a good start.
Yeah, we did. We got started by just buying leads, kind of like what you're doing now. Back then we were buying $5 auto leads, and I tell people we were turning nickels into dollars. If I spent $5 on an auto lead, I was trying to make 20 or 30 or more. That was the game. Still
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So you are a big lead purchaser right now, would you say, or?
We're not.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see farmers negotiating these rates with all of these lead providers so that agencies can, stretch their marketing dollars. Just makes sense with our buying power. Um, we early on in when I first became a career agent, we bought auto leads, then we bought home leads, and then we were buying home leads, but at the same time we started marketing to realtors and lenders,
Hmm.
and and the goal always was to pull back on the amount of leads we were buying and increase on our marketing with realtors and lenders to the point to where, I mean, up until this new strategy that Farmers has in place, up until about 10 years ago, we didn't buy leads anymore. Matter of
Wow.
fact, I just started buying leads again this year, um, because I want to support farmers,
Hmm.
and I know, but we haven't invested in it near to the extent you have. We're mainly what I call grassroots marketing,
Hmm.
realtors, lenders, any type of circle of influence or sphere, and anybody that could be a potential referral partner for us is really where we spend most of our marketing dollars and time.
So in about year, so you haven't been buying leads for about 10 years, so it took about 7 years to supplement that lead volume with referrals, you would say?
Yes, yeah, that's right on point, Dan. We were about year 5 when we started adjusting our strategy,
Hmm.
but it took about 2 years for us to be able to offset what we were buying with referrals. And yeah, about a decade ago, it finally hit, and then we just pushed all our chips in on the table towards that. And then now with the strategy that Farmers has, the take the lead strategy, we want to support that.
Hmm.
And so we're definitely we're not investing in it to the extent that you are and others, but we're definitely participating in it. But mainly, probably 80% of our business is due to a real estate transaction.
Wow, that's great because, I mean, I'll tell you, I wish I didn't have the expense I have when it comes to,
Hey,
uh,
we spend money, man. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, we just had a big campaign going on this week with a lot of local real estate offices, and they had a big meeting, and we sponsored. For example, one of the meetings were held in a movie theater. Well,
Okay.
they reached out to us and said, "Hey, Hector, would you be willing to, to sponsor us for this movie theater? It cost us $500 to do it,
Hmm.
but we got in front of like 50 realtors, and
Hmm.
we're already in business with all of them. So it's just reinforcing, you got to stay in front of your client or referral partner. So we spend money, we just spend it in different ways.
Yeah, and time too, right?
Time too.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm what I call the lead generator in our agency. I don't, I'll sell a policy if a referral partner specifically asks me to do that. But I'm out there generating the opportunity for our producers, and then our producers, once the referral comes in, prepares the quote, presents the quote, sells the policy.
Right. But yeah, you said we when we spoke briefly that your main duty you feel like is lead generation.
That's it, man. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm a lead generator. Even the day-to-day operations of the agency, we have an operations manager who all things get funneled to her. If it's a problem, if it's a good thing, if it's a client needs to be reached out to by somebody that other than the account manager or the new business specialist. Her name is Tran, and she's extraordinary. And and then if she feels like it needs my attention, then she brings it to me. And I about 3 or 4 years ago, I knew that our agency had reached a size where I was going to have to decide, am I going to run the agency or am I going to be the lead generator? Because it had reached a point to where I couldn't do both anymore.
Right.
And so we already had Tran and our, she was our #1 producer. Nobody wrote more business in our agency than Tran. She had been there for 5 years and she was incredible. We call her the silent assassin because she's so sweet and kind, but she cares so much about what she's doing that she just endears herself to you and you'll buy whatever she's offering you. The silent assassin is what we call her. But about a year and a half ago, I came to her and said, I need you in leadership. You know, will you do this for the agency? And she was so gracious. She said, you tell me what you need, coach. Where do you need me? And she's done a great job. She has the respect of the agency and everybody in it because they know she's done it. But so that's what we did. And as a result, you know, now I get to focus on lead generating.
Which is so important. You know, that's something you can't have a staff do. You know, that has to come from the agency owner.
I heard somebody say, this was a friend of mine, I had reached out to her at this time that I had a business decision to make, and her name was Diva. And I said, Diva, what do you think? You know, she's a smart young lady. And she said, Hector, nobody can deliver your value proposition in the way you do. She said, nobody can do it. They just don't have the passion. You've got a bunch of smart people in your agency. She knew who we were. But she said, nobody can deliver the value prop the way you can. You need to be the face of the agency. And I had kind of already come to that decision on my own, but I had reached out to her and some other people that really knew me and the agency. And unanimously, they said the same thing. You've got to be the lead generator.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I'm a lead generator. I'm a rainmaker. I'm a phone ringer. That's what I do. And I love it. I really do. I love customer service and I love sales too, man. When I get to sell a policy, I'm fired up, but that's not what the agency pays me to do. They pay me to lead generate.
Yeah. And without a lead, nothing ever gets started. You know, that's where it all starts.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. So, I think we talked about that. It's like, it doesn't matter how well the product is priced, how comprehensive it is, how well you are at delivering the product, you know, a producer or salesperson. If you don't have anybody to present it to, none of those things matter. You got to have a client, have to, but you got to have the other stuff too. It's a recipe, man. You can't make a cake without flour, eggs, and milk. If you just got eggs and milk, it don't matter. You need the flour.
Yeah. I don't know which comes first, but I think the lead does come first because without
you better be able to do both.
It's like the chef, like, you know, it just is so underrated, and I think it deserves agencies owners' full attention.
I couldn't agree more. And for those of y'all that will come across this and watch it, first of all, I'm so grateful to just be talking about what we do. I mean, I told you, Dan, earlier, what we do is not a secret. I've got no secret sauce, but I did commit to Dan that if I did find the secret sauce, I would tell him first. But yeah, but
for each other.
Yeah, but for those of you all out there listening, you better be able to lead generate. If you can't lead generate, then I want you to go work for my competitor. Take the farmer shirt off and go work for somebody else, because I want you as my competitor if you can't lead generate. But if you can lead generate, then please put a farmer's shirt on and let's go spread the gospel. And lead generate takes different forms, right, Dan? I mean, I lead generate through realtors and lenders. Lead generation can also be asking for referrals from your current clients. It can be buying leads. It can be, you know, buying collect date and having a marketer to outbound dial. Lead generation is just, there's various ways in which to do it. We happen to do it by hand-to-hand combat with realtors, lenders, and other people that are involved in a real estate transaction. But
yeah, I think it's important for
lead generate.
Yeah, I think it is important for each agency owner to understand what their strengths and what their weaknesses are and what they're comfortable with, and find something that works. You know, it doesn't have to be one way. There's so many ways to do it, but
absolutely,
you need to find something.
Some agency owners don't like talking to people, right? I mean, they want to be crunching reports and doing numbers, and and stuff like that. And if that's what you want to do, great, do it. But then go hire somebody with a great personality to go, represent your agency, whether it's a marketer by phone or actually going out there and doing, or just buying a bunch of leads, whatever. But you got to have a client to present it to, or otherwise nothing else matters.
So once you have the leads coming in, once you have the sales, once you have the book of business, one thing that really stood out to me is the size of your agency as far as staffing.
Yeah.
You got a big team there. You have 2 locations, right?
2 locations. Yeah. One on the north side of town and one on the south side of town in
And,
Houston.
and 17 total employees.
17. Yeah. 17
Yeah,
team members.
yeah, that's a lot of personalities.
It is. And I won't lie to you, Dan, and hopefully some of our team are going to watch this and they know it. They're all different. They have a lot of similarities. And we've definitely had our challenges of personalities or communication style or, whatever. But in the end, they all care about each other. They care about me, and they know that I care about them deeply. For me, Dan, that's what keeps me up at night. I worry about 2 things: my family and the revenue in which that I'm responsible for bringing in for them, and the revenue that I am responsible for bringing in for our team and their families. And that, it's a big burden, but I'm so grateful to be able to bear it. And the ability to give people opportunities. We hired somebody about 2 years ago. Her name is Lauren. Graduated from high school, was working at Buffalo Wild Wings, had never had a professional job, and she was referred to us, and we gave her an opportunity. And Dan, 2 years later, she's essential to what we do in our agency. She's one of our shortest tenure team members, but she started with just answering the phone, and then she's worked her way to doing all kind of stuff now where she's essential to what we do. And I love the idea of being able to give people opportunities. It's tough sometimes to manage all those personalities, but we all care about each other. I think that's, if I could sum it up, Dan, I think that's it. Our team members know that every decision I make is surrounded around how can I make them more money and help their family. I'm never going to ask them to do something that's not going to make them more money. And in return, they do the same for me. They say, hey, Hector, I'm invested in the agency. As the agency succeeds, so will we. So where do we go? They trust me, and they know that I'm not trying to pull anything over on them. I'm very transparent with numbers and revenue and everything. They know. People come to work from our agency and they're like, I've never heard all these numbers from where I worked before. And we share it with them. So it's good. I'm grateful for every one of them.
Yeah, that trust and care. I mean, that's really what the secret sauce probably when it comes to staffing, right?
Yeah, you better. Yeah, a good hire, man. I mean, that's one thing that we did very successfully early on in my career is we hired fantastic people. Elizabeth Bear, who's been with us for 10 years. And man, she was great, and she's still with us today. And that one hire led to other great hires. The other thing I tell people is talent attracts talent. So if you've got talent in your building, you're going to attract other talented people. But if you've got non-talent in your building, guess what you're going to attract? Non-talented people. Talented people want to work with talented people. And one of the things we say within our agency, Dan, is we're a rock band. And if you're not a rock star, you don't get to be in the rock band. I want success for everybody. But if you're a opening act or a, just an up and comer that you just haven't figured out what your instrument or vocal is, I wish you well, but you can't play in my rock band because we're a rock band, and I need everybody working at this level, not down here. So that's another thing we've been able to create is we've got a bunch of rock stars in the agency.
That's awesome. No, yeah. What are some things that you look for right now when you are recruiting? Like, what are some key characteristics or any like tips when it comes to like, because someone could look like a rock star for an hour.
Hey man, I haven't gotten it right all the time. I've definitely made some failures in my hiring career. One thing that I love that Farmers has done is they have brokered that deal with Ideal Traits.
Yep.
And yeah, as soon as I heard about Ideal Traits, Farmers hadn't even put it in the marketing store, but once it was brought to my attention, a guy in Tennessee who's a President's Council agent, Drew Miles, brought it to my attention. And I looked into it and I invested in it immediately. And so to answer your question, what do we look for? It really depends on the role. You know, if we're looking for a new business specialist, then we're looking for a sales type mentality. And through Ideal Traits, it sends out to the prospective candidate an assessment. And then it'll return back to you. Hey, this person is a nurturer. This person is a closer. This person is a sales team leader. Well, if we're looking for an account manager, customer service rep, being a nurturer is great.
Yeah.
But if we're looking for a salesperson, I don't want a kitty cat. I want a lion. I'm searching for a lion. So I'm looking for that salesperson. So we really rely on that assessment, and that's what we're looking for. Just depend on what role we're hiring for.
Have you had enough experience with it to see if those assessments are accurate? My last hire was from Ideal Traits, my first one. And there was a lot of different, characteristics, but one of them was sales leader. I was like, wow, this is unusual. And, I've hired her. Obviously, she's not in sales yet because she has to go through the licensing process, but I could kind of see that in her. So I'm like, wow, this was a good hire, So I do feel like Ideal Traits is something that's going to really help us agency owners. But what's your experience as far as how accurate you feel the assessments has been?
Yeah, thus far it's been 100% accurate.
Yeah, okay, great.
We put all 17 of our team members, Dan, through the assessment. Mm-hmm. And I've been working with these people. I know these people,
yeah.
But I just wanted to see, does their personality match up with what man, it was 100%. And that sales team leader role, that one, that's the unicorn.
Yeah.
That role, I'll tell you, the people in our organization that are sales team leaders are our leadership. My wife, who works in the agency as well, doing our marketing, she's a sales leader, and she's a straight up closer. If I could convince her, I would love for her to take on a sales role, but she didn't want to do it. But the sales team leader, that one right there, I think we've got 3 people in our agency that were identified as that, Michelle being one of them. And every one of them are just, not only can they sell, but they're leaders. They're hard to find. A great, great description.
Yeah, and I have so many questions, for you, but I think I don't want to undervalue the point you made of how much you care about them. I think it really, to sustain a big agency like that, that's a characteristic I see in a lot of top agents, is that they genuinely care about their employees, And once you do that, I feel like you figure things out for them, and that helps your agency grow because you feel responsible and obligated to help them out. And I think those are the type of agents that build bigger agencies, whereas agency owners that are focused on just their lifestyle and them only are the ones that have, one person or,
plateau.
Yeah.
On that subject, Dan, I will tell you, we've all heard it. No one succeeds alone. And it's absolutely the truth. You don't get to write the amount of premium that we're writing because Hector is writing it. Hector's not writing it. And I've told farmers this, and I know they've got a movement towards this. I don't want another trophy with my name on it. I don't want to get another trophy that says James or Hector ever again. I want it to say Acosta Insurance Agency, because they're 100%. The one. Yeah, it's not, and granted, now we work together, right? They can't do it without me and I can't do it without them. But, going to that point, caring about them and building it on another subject. Here's the thing. I don't want to be naive to think that they work here because they really enjoy me and my personality. I know they like me, at least they tell me they do, but they're in it for the money, Dan, right? I'm here for the money. And so you got to compensate them, right? And so I tell people I'm a big advocate of performance-based compensation, meaning as much as you bring to the organization, I believe you should be compensated accordingly. As little as you bring to the organization, I believe you should be compensated accordingly. And so all of our team members have a base salary with a commission component attached to it. Our salespeople's commission component is higher. They're more heavily weighted in commissions. Our account managers or customer service people have higher base salaries, but still have a commission component attached. Because when the agency wins, I want them to win. And hey, if we fail in a month, I want them to know that we failed. I don't, again, going back to transparency,
Mhm.
I want them to know if we're winning, let's celebrate. If we're not winning, let's learn from it. How do we learn? And man, Dan, you talk about that leaderboard for whether it's PIF or premium, you better believe that the people in my agency, our agency, they love looking at that leaderboard and seeing themselves at the top. And if they have to scroll to the second page to see their name, it pisses them off. And I want it to make them mad. It makes me mad. I don't want to, I'm not a, my DM says, I don't want to be a scroll down agent. I don't want to have to scroll through 4 pages to see my name. I want to be on the first page, Dan, in every measurable metric. That's what I want to do.
So yeah, that's how do you get your employees that invested? You feel like, well, just again, caring about them in return, they care about you, right? I kind of
I
answered
think
that
that's
question.
part of it. Yeah, is sharing the vision of what we want to do and why. I think the why behind what we're doing is important. We've got a big initiative around life insurance right now before from now until the end of the year. And we talk about, number one, it's needed for retention, but then we also talk about the 2 more important parts. Number one is they're going to get paid for it, and we want them generating revenue. But number 3, the biggest reason is because our clients need it, right? Our clients need life insurance, and nobody else in their life is talking to them about that. Their mother-in-law, their pastor, their neighbor, they're not talking about life insurance. That's our job. And so just telling them the why behind what we're doing, and then again, attaching money to it. You want to motivate people, attach money to it. And just morale and camaraderie.
Mhm.
When we're very fortunate that we're at the top of some of the farmers lists, and we want to stay there. Once you've had a taste of success, you don't want to you don't want to let it go. And that hasn't always been the case. We weren't always um, on the top of lists, but we always strive to get there. And I also believe um, the leader drives the culture of the office.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I'm a competitor. I compete in every area of my life. I want to be the best father I can be, the best husband I can be, the best manager or coach that I can be for our team. I want to be number 1 in personal lines. I want to be number 1 in I want to be number 1 in everything. And so, and that culture drives through the agency. And we talk about, where we are in production, but we also are reminded of that these numbers are not just numbers. Those premium dollars you were talking about aren't just premium dollars. Those are families that we were able to help.
Right.
And yeah, so
No, I love that. I think when you combine helping somebody and making money for doing that, it's just
I get to lay my head down at night, Dan, or talk to my kids about what I did for work today, and I get to tell them I helped people. Like I said, I left a career where I was on the fast track. I was the fastest person to get into outside sales in that industry that company had ever seen, and I was on the fast track, and I had blinked, and it had been 5 years. And so I had to make a decision. Am I going to stay, or am I going to go do something else? But again, going back to, I always wanted to help people, and over there, I wasn't helping anybody. But here I do. I get to help people, and I get to make money, and I get to build relationships. And never was that more evident. And I'm going to say something. I don't know if you and I have even talked about it, Dan, but on Tuesday of last week, I tested positive for COVID. And the symptoms have been very manageable. I'm so grateful. I've been working nonstop since Tuesday of last week. I never missed a lick.
You look like you have a lot of energy right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm fine. I got a quarantine on Saturday, but I say that to say this. We talk about building relationships. I put it out on Facebook that I had it, 150 comments, tons of calls and texts to me directly or to my wife. people just bringing us stuff and leaving it on our doorstep. These are our referral partners, Dan. A
Well,
lot of them are our friends and clients, but I'm talking about referral partners that run massive businesses that are texting my wife and saying, hey, Jamie and I are going to bring you something, or I'm just checking on Hector, or, that's a deep relate that goes beyond just a transaction. And in a world where our competitors are trying to make everything transactional, you know, 15% or more in 15 minutes or less, or whatever the tagline is, where it's all transactional. You know what? I I want to be relation driven. And
mhm.
so I want a relationship with our referral partners and our clients. And that's one of the other reasons we have so many team members, is because they may not talk to me every time they call in. Actually, they won't, but they have an account manager, which every time they call in, they're going to talk to Danny or Chris or, Aubrey or whoever it is. And they're going to have a relationship with the agency through those people. And if they ever need me, hey, I'm not in an ivory tower. I'll call you. I'll absolutely call you. If I get a message and Danny says, hey, this client really wants to hear from you, no problem. I will absolutely call them and we can talk about anything they want.
Yeah. No, yeah, this business is all about relationships, and that's a powerful story, and that kind of shows how much value you're bringing to those referral partners, that they care about you to that
Yeah,
level. Uh,
that was a big I knew it already, but man, never was it more evident last week when just love got poured out um, from them. They didn't have to do that. I mean, I'm their insurance partner. I'm not their brother or their cousin, but we go deep,
yeah,
but that doesn't just happen over time. And you got to give, Dan. Don't just take agency force. For those of y'all out there, that's another thing. I tell people I want to give more than I receive, and I don't have to sell you anything to help you. If you're a realtor or a lender, you can call me and ask me a question or get me to look up a flood zone determination or a claims history report. That's fine. I'll do it. I don't have to sell you anything, but they value that. They know that I'm truly out there to help them. And not only am I doing that, but so is our team. So
hmm
give.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes I think, when we look at an angle of like, what can I take? What can I take? That's really what gets a lot of people in trouble, and really it's almost a competition of who could give more. Like the more you
Yeah,
give, it's just gonna, come back. And even if it doesn't, don't expect, but it's just giving. It's just a better way to be, a better mindset to have at all times. And speaking of relationships, that's probably one of the things that really help is when you have a lot of staff members, that's just more relationships they could create,
oh
so
yeah,
the
man,
power
you
of
got to
big
honor the
staff.
relationships, Dan. You got to honor the relationships, because let's say I am out there and I'm lead generating and I'm talking to realtors and lenders and delivering our value proposition to them. Well, when you get the opportunity to work with them, you better have somebody smart in the building that can deliver that promise that you just made, because you only get one opportunity to make that first impression, and then you impress them, and then you follow up and you begin to do more work for them and more work for them, and all of a sudden now you're a team. They feel like they can't do real estate effectively without you. And obviously, we know we can't do our business without them unless we completely changed how we lead generate. And I don't want to. I
Yeah.
love working with home buyers and lenders and realtors.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
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 So,
I gotta really get into that and learn more about that. But one of the questions I have for you, I'm about, I think 11 right now, full-time staff members. And what are some things that help you? Because getting 17 people, especially with you, two locations, right? What are some
yeah.
things or tactics that help you get everybody on the same page? Like,
Mhm.
are you, how often are you meeting with them as a whole team, or meetings, or what is it? Because, you kind of have to stay in front, deliver the message over and over again, right? To motivate
Yeah.
them and to believe in the same things. And what are some advice you have when it comes to getting people, that many people on the same vision?
Yeah, good question, Dan. I think to answer your question, number one, um, we have we meet every other week with our account management team, so the customer service team. because the things that are important to our customer service team are different than the things that are important to our new business specialists,
Mhm.
what farmers call producers. So we meet with them on alternating weeks. So week one, we meet with our producers and we're talking about product and strategy and scripts and how to overcome objections and we're talking about that things that are working for some people or people that are having challenges. The next week we'll meet with the account management team. Hey, same conversation because our account management team is cross-selling and we're talking about retention and strategies around it and language that is working, that's resonating with our clients. And then we meet every 2 weeks on Friday, and we have a what we call a business meeting, our team meeting. And we, because we have two offices, we go into our conference room, and we have the technology that allows us um, to zoom in to our Kingwood office, and we give everybody kind of the state of the company. Hey, this is where we are new business wise, and this is where we are net growth and premium growth, and here's where we need to improve, and we're just talking about that, just kind of giving them the knowledge. Hey, here's the initiatives. Farmers is launching Apex next month, or Guidewires coming out, or we've got a new carrier into Crap Lake. And so it's really kind of a state of the company, but
Mhm.
we're meeting every 2 weeks. Um, and then Tran on a daily, is interacting with them one-on-one with just different things that they have. So I think it's important that you get the group together in that way, um, and just let them know what's going on within the company. That's another thing. I mean, our team members, they understand what's going on within farmers as a whole and within the agency. I want them to know, hey,
Mhm.
we just inked a new deal with a new market center, and we're their insurance partner now. And but as we do that, I want them to know that.
Yeah, yeah. Not only is it about communicating with our clients, but I would maybe argue, the way we communicate with our employees is more important.
Oh yeah, they're the army, man. I
Yeah,
mean, I can only sell so many policies, um, but if I can teach 17 people to do what I do, that's an
man.
army,
Yeah,
right? You have 17 Dans. Can you imagine 17 Dans out there in the market talking to your clients? And um, yeah, it's it's a blessing. I'm grateful to be in business with every one of them. So grateful. And any
yeah,
one of them could go open an agency today, Dan. And I tell them that openly. Every
mhm,
one of them are smart enough and knowledgeable enough that they could go open their own agency today and be wildly successful. It is my job to create an environment for them, both culturally and financially, to where they never want to leave. That's my goal. I want to
exactly.
create an environment for them that nobody ever wants to leave. They would say,
Mhm.
why would I go through the pain that James went through for 5 or 7 years, um, and when I've got it good here,
Yeah,
and that's the way I run the agency. I want to make it a great place for them to work.
yeah. No, I always think about that too. Like, I want to make this place better for them to stay than to go on their own. You
They
know,
could go do it. Anyone
yeah,
in our agency could go do it today. Or even, here in Houston, you've got Halliburton and all the big oil and gas companies or the medical companies. And, all of them pay a ton of money for you to go work with them. But you have to drive into the city and it's a grind. It's an hour commute there, an hour commute back. And so we've got to add value a different way within the agency beyond just money.
yeah.
Culture too. I mean, if we have a good month, we'll wash everybody's cars. I'll hire a mobile deliver or mobile detail company, and they'll wash everybody's cars. um, or something, I don't know, gift cards or whatever we do. um, but yeah, we that's what we do. And then once a quarter before COVID, we all get together. We would meet someplace central and just have an hour and a half long lunch, and have our meeting there. That way, we're seeing each other in person. That was pre-COVID.
Nice. Yeah, there's so many different ways to show recognition and appreciation, which is something that I keep hearing from your mouth, just the gratitude you have. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the relationship you have. And you've been, again, just such a short time we spoke before this, but I can just kind of sense the positive and just the gratitude you have towards the leadership of our company, and the great relationship you have. Tell me a little bit about the importance of that.
Yeah. So number one, I was privileged to be asked to be on the current advisory council. And so I'm on the advisory council now. And through that, I was really able to begin to learn or begin to know some of the leadership. I'd seen them at Toppers and I'd seen them at Championship and other places. But I've really been able to get to know them on a personal level through the advisory council. And Dan, I got to tell you, I mean, I'm so proud to be a farmer's agent, but I don't know that I've ever been more proud today and more optimistic about where we're going from the investment that they're making in us through Salesforce. Guidewire will be launching in Texas later this year. I really believe they have a vision of, hey, they believe they can win with the agency force, and I believe that too. And I really believe that they have our best interest at heart. They're not perfect, but I believe they do more things right than they do wrong. And I'm really trying to be a voice for not just our agency, because our agency, is not every agency. So when we're there, we're really trying to be a voice for the entire agency force, but they're listening. And so excited about Steve McEnana's leadership, Krista Conti, the new life person. We've got a new underwriter, chief underwriter. Man, that guy is crazy smart. I just really believe that that our best days are ahead of us, but at the same time, we got to get it right. And I have confidence in that leadership team, but I also am giving them advice, not just me, but the other advisory council members. You guys would be so proud of your advisory council. They're just genuinely caring people who really try and think of the overall benefit of the agency force. There's sometimes when we're in that meeting and I'm like, this is not going to benefit Hector, but you know what? It's going to benefit a large percentage of the agency force, and I'm all for that. So yeah, I'll vote yes, whatever that is. But yeah, be excited about that. But hold them accountable too, leadership. If you're watching leadership, we're not, we're going to hold you accountable, because sometimes the company's vision and the agency's visions aren't the same. And so just like many things, we have to compromise, and they listen. And not every company has that, whether it's an insurance or anything else. And we have the ability to communicate to our leadership, and I'm grateful to them.
Yeah, no, same here. Just the fact that, they listen, and just overall, just having faith that they're doing the right thing. I think it's so important, because I think sometimes with agents, they can get frustrated. Maybe the lack of accountability, but placing the blame on other things, it's not going to help us. And just having just positive belief and just the leadership and having confidence in them, and I think is just the right type of mentality to have, because they've shown us, we've made great careers out of this opportunity.
Yeah, Dan, you and I started in the same year. I mean, and I didn't, hey, by the way, I don't know if they did this for you. They didn't give me any better rates than what they gave anybody else in Texas, and they're not paying me anymore, and they're not giving me anything they're not giving to anybody else. So if you struck that deal with them, let me know, because I want in on it. They're not giving me anything that they're not giving everybody else. We all have the same opportunity. I've heard it said, you can have reasons or you can have results, but you can't have both. Because if you got results, you don't have reasons. But if you got reasons, you probably don't have results. Oh, I can't, or I shouldn't, or that's too hard. Whatever, go get it. Yeah, we've all got the same opportunity. So I don't want to hear excuses. I want to see results.
Yep.
Because it's been done.
Yeah. Before us, and it will be done again.
Being done right now.
Agency model definitely works. Tell me a little bit about the acquisition process you went through, because that must have been a game changer, as you mentioned. Really as someone who hasn't been through acquisition, other agents may be considering it. What are some things to look for? How did the math work out for you? Yeah, when was it?
It was so it was July of 2018, and my district manager was instrumental in leading the charge for this. She saw in me that she felt like I could. Her name is Cynthia Ryder. She's an incredible lady. I'm so grateful to have her as my district manager. Um, and she met with our territory head at the time, got approval from farmers, and there was an agent in our district who was retiring, and he was a great agent, ran a great agency, and I hadn't really thought about acquisition up until that point, but Ken was retiring, and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I can't think of a better person to lead my agency into the future than you. And would you like to compete for this opportunity?" And I was so humbled by that because Ken's a good man. He's still a friend of mine. And, but we had to compete for it because Ken is also a businessman. And there were two other people competing for that opportunity, right? It was a bidding process. And get this, Dan, we came in second. It was a closed bid and we came in second. And Ken called me and he said, "Hey, you came in second." And I said, "Okay, I get it." He said I forget what the guy, what he was. He was the orchestrator of the deal. He said, "Hey, this guy wants me to put it out to bid again for you top two to make your highest bid." He said, "But I don't want to do that. I want you to run my agency. So if you'll get to a slightly higher number, then it's yours." And I said, "I'll get there, Ken. I'll do it. Let's do it." And so, Dan, one thing to know about me is Hector Acosta does not like debt. I don't like debt. When I started the agency, I took $5,000 of my hard-earned money and I said, "I'm going to take this $5,000. And if I make it, I make it. And if I don't, I don't. I'll go do something else." And so the agency has never been in debt. I don't like it. I think it can be used as a tool. So to go off and buy an agency, it took a lot of praying and a lot of conversation with my wife and our agency. And but 2 years into it, I'm so grateful that I did it. We absorbed 5 of Ken's team members. Everyone that wanted to stay stayed. We didn't lose one. We lost one lady who was going through physical therapy school, but she was leaving anyway. Everybody else stayed. And 2 of them told me, they were like, "Yeah, we didn't think we were going to stay. We thought we were going to leave." And then we heard you talk and they said, "Okay, we'll give it a run." Nobody's left. No,
Wow.
in 2 years, nobody's left, man. We've retained everybody. So I would say this, agency force, if you have the opportunity to do an acquisition, do it. That one was right for us because Ken was retiring. Some people are not retiring. They're going to open up an independent office. And if you're going to do that, I'm not telling you not to do it. I would potentially do it, but you better add some value. You better create a value proposition that is bigger than your competitors. So that acquisition for us, Dan, was a true blessing. It really launched us into a different stratosphere with what we've been able to do with the agency. So
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, wow. And then keep retaining the staff.
Yep.
They keep the relationship going with that book of business.
Yeah. We were able to tell them, "Hey, nothing's changed. Everybody that you've always spoken to is here. Nobody is left." And they've been great. It was a challenge though, Dan. I mean, 2 different cultures. Ken ran his agency one way and I ran my agency another. But we learned from each other. We took the best part of Ken's agency and the best part of ours, and we merged them. And 2 years and 4 months later, we're still learning from each other.
Yeah.
We have a mutual respect though.
You obviously knew what he was doing, building a book of business that big. So, and then, so you were able to do it without getting in debt?
What's that?
You were able to purchase the book with You
Oh
talking
no,
shit?
forgive
You
me.
have
That was the prayer. That was the prayer part, Dan. Is
to.
that I had no, I didn't make that kind of money.
Oh, okay.
I had to, so I leveraged my farmer's contract,
Uh-huh.
and I went to an outside bank.
Uh-huh.
So because there were two books of business, he had a farmer's book of business and an outside book of business,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and we bought both.
Right.
That's the other thing he really wanted is he wanted both book of businesses to go to one place so that it was less disruptive for his client base and his staff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did both. We used the credit union to buy the farmer's book, and then we used an outside bank to buy the outside book of business.
Wow. Yeah, and then so at the end of the day, you weren't the highest bidder, right?
No,
But
no, we came in second, man.
he just
And
that
but
shows you
Ken,
how much he believes. Yeah.
yeah, Ken,
He
again,
cares.
I think it goes back to how you treat people. I mean, at the time I had known Ken for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't nice to Ken because I wanted to buy his agency. I never dreamed that that's what we were going to do. We're just kind to people, Dan. I mean, I don't care who it is, whether you're the guy bringing me food at a restaurant or whether you're the broker owner of a market center, a real estate market center, we're going to be kind to everybody. And I really believe that's contributed to our success because people know that Hector and his team are not just about revenue; they're about helping people, and yeah, and so I really believe that that's helped with our success. People genuinely believe, and it's true that we're there to help them. That's what we do is we help people.
Yep. I absolutely agree with you. I think sometimes in the short term, it doesn't necessarily mean it benefits you, but for the long term, it definitely, being kind and being nice is just the way to go, and
It
that's
is.
just,
You catch more bees with honey.
yeah. And not only as a business sense, but it's just the right thing to do anyways.
Life in general. Yeah, I don't care whether I'm talking to my kids' teachers or the guy that's picking up the trash. The other day I was out front and the guys were picking up the trash. You know what I did? Is I helped them put it in the garbage truck because I was out there. And I'm not just going to sit there on my tailgate while these guys are throwing my trash into the trash can. I asked them, I was like, hey, can I help you? Is that okay? And they were like, yeah. So I took this old park bench and I was throwing it in the garbage truck. I mean, it's just who I am as a person. And I would just tell everybody, be kind to each other.
Yeah. One of the
Always.
quotes I hate is "nice guys finish last." I actually don't believe in that. Is
I
that
don't
true,
either.
Doug?
You got to be a good business person. Don't get me wrong. Don't be a pushover.
Right.
But if you're doing things for the right reason, everything else will follow. I tell people we have a heart, and Farmers has a heart and a brain, and we use them both. And not every insurance company can say that. And I believe our agency is that way too. We have a heart and a brain, and we use them both. Yeah.
Love it. Let's get to what I'm really interested in.
Okay.
Number one in the premium growth. I know there's a lot of things going on that makes you accomplish that, but what are some key moves or strategies that you made that helped you get to where you are as far as new business premium?
I think Dan, the thing that's contributed to that is we stay focused. I told you earlier we love helping people. Well, you can't give what you don't have. Okay. So the stronger we can make the agency, the more that the agency can benefit not only the people in it, but the people around it. Whether it's sponsoring my daughter's band that we just did, who's probably not even going to have a band competition, but they got $3,000 of my money because my daughter's in the band. And we're able to do that because of the financial health of the agency. And so, man, we just stayed focused, Dan. Through the pandemic, we've just stayed focused on new business. Can we come up with excuses? We're working remote and people don't want to talk about insurance. We could come up with every excuse, but we didn't. We just kept selling. And the other thing that I've talked to our team about is through this pandemic, the other thing that I've discovered is a responsibility. And what I mean by that is there are people out there, Farmers Universe, they don't have a job right now. Okay, they want to work, but they can't. Or they're being asked to be furloughed or take, reduce their salary so that nobody gets laid off. And here we are in an industry where I'm leading the company in premium. What? That's my responsibility. I get to work, and my livelihood has not been interrupted like these hospitality and restaurant industries and other industries. So yeah, I feel an obligation to go to freaking work. And so, even though, we are the size that we are, man, I get up every morning, 6:30, I'm checking email, I'm getting my kids out the door. And when school is in session, my daughter's at school at 7 and I'm at the office at 7:15, 7:30. And I'm working 6, later in the evening, sometimes 7 when my daughter has band and I go get her after. I'm like, shoot, I might as well work, 10, 12 hours a day. Let's work. So, that's it. We just kept production in mind because even our own team members, some of our team members, their spouses have been laid off. And in my mind, I think, well, hey, team member, how can we help you generate more money? What can I do so that you can make enough money to help offset what your spouse just lost? Because they'll tell me. And that's just what we've done.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just gratitude and hard work, right?
That's it.
It's just,
yeah, don't stop. We all have this opportunity. And the great thing is our compensation isn't capped. It's as many policies and or people you can help in a month as how much money you're going to make. I think that's the question people need to ask themselves. How much money do you want to make? My team will ask me, they've asked me this several times, is, hey, when are we going to really feel like, or when are you going to really feel like we've made it? You're leading the company in premium. Do you feel like you've made it? No, I don't feel like I've made it. I'm creating a legacy, not just for me, but in my family, but for your family as well. And so let's keep blowing it up.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell you this, by the way, in October, we have 3 new team members starting, Dan. We'll be at 20 team members in October because we're not done. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of people out there that need my help.
Yeah.
And so we'll be at 20.
No, that's the way to look at it. Like, there's more people to help. Why stop now?
Yeah.
Like, there's other people who need help,
Yeah.
And those 3 people, you get so much fulfillment of seeing them get better and better, so really we're in the business helping. So yeah, 3 people. I was just going to ask, what's next for the Acosta agency?
Well, let me say that. Number one, yes, we're bringing on another new business personal line specialist. We're bringing on a commercial specialist, which we already have one. And we're bringing on a life and FFS guy, which we already have one. But that's what's next, is that I owe it to our family, our clients, to be a life specialist, to be really good at life and to be really good at commercial. And so that's where we're looking to go. What else is new for us that we want to give? We want to help people. And even agencies, if we can help with a question, we want to be able to do that. But yeah, we want to double in size and premium, because that just means that's that many more people that we can help, whether it's a client or whether it's somebody that we get to hire and give them an opportunity. But yeah, that's what's next. 3 new people, and I want to be at the top of the leaderboard in life and commercial. Right now we're primarily a personal lines agency, but we've been doing life and commercial for about 3 years, but we could do so much more in that area, and we're investing in it. We're coming.
Wow. Yeah, I can definitely tell that you're fired up about the future, and I'm excited. I'm super excited too about the opportunity we have, and I think going back to what you were saying, it's like almost like an obligation. It's like it would be disrespectful if you didn't take advantage.
Oh, agreed. That's exactly the way I look at it, man. Yeah. How many people that work at a restaurant would love the ability to generate revenue in the way in which you and I and the rest of the agency force is able to do it right now. They want to
Sometimes,
do it, they can't.
sometimes I almost feel guilty
Yeah,
that, we're in such a fortunate, industry. And, not only the workers there, but, I'm sure you have the clients too, the business owners that have been affected by this.
yeah,
Yeah. So, in behalf of everybody, we have to do what we can to, turn things around.
agreed. Agreed. Yeah, the stronger our agencies are, the more we can help others,
Hmm.
whether that's donating our time or our money or giving people time off from work to go do things that they need to do for their kids, whatever.
Hmm.
But again, I go back to you cannot give what you do not have. And so we want the health of our agency to be great so that everybody that's associated with the agency, whether you're a referral partner, a team member, a client, or what the band, I keep referring to my daughter's band, high school band,
Hmm.
everybody wins because we're busting it like we're busting it.
Any tips, or how's the relationship, and how does it work with when it comes to working with your spouse? Because you gave me a little insight there. Save the
Yeah,
hard one
I
for
think
last.
I think it goes back to respect. I think Michelle and I have a great respect for one another. I think the health of your marriage will translate into the health of your business, and I think always realizing that you both have the same goal, and
Mhm.
so you're not adversaries, you're business partners. And I'm very fortunate. My wife is gorgeous, but she's also smart, and so I don't know what I did to deserve her, but I'm so grateful to have her. And just she thinks in a different way than I do, Dan. And so being able to get that insight from her and hearing her thought processes um, just makes me better, makes the agency better. Um, and just take emotion out of it. Never, if you're getting to a point to where you and your spouse are arguing about something and it's work related, stop it. Your marriage is more important than your agency. At least mine is. And if
Mhm.
yours isn't, you might want to recheck your priorities. Um, our culture is God, family, and business in that order. But if you can't take being second to my wife and kids, we're not a match. We don't need to be in business together, whether you're a referral partner or a client. If you think I love you more than I love my wife and kids, you're wrong. And you need to go find another agency because we're not the right place for you. So yeah, marriage first, man. That's what we do. And yeah, I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Definitely, man. Yeah, that's powerful stuff. I can't agree with you anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Hector, thank you so much for your time. I mean, there's just so many ways I connect with you and the way you think. It's just, and I've struggled with it in the past too. But when this unlock, and I hope a lot of people, listening, could hear just a genuine, appreciation you have of of the company, of our staff, our clients, our referral partners. That's really where I think the results come from. Having that right perspective and mindset. So yeah, I think another thing you're able to do is help out other agents, um, because the more agents we have thinking like you, that's going to help our company. And the better our company does, it'll only all help us individually and our staff members too. So I really appreciate your time, Hector. We just shout out to Tim Cunningham. I should have mentioned him for getting
Absolutely.
us
Tim
together. Great guy.
introduced us, man.
Yeah, so I need to really appreciate what he did for us, and then for you too. I mean, you're a warrior. I mean, you are here doing this while having COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I say something in closing?
Of course.
Yeah. So number one, thank you to you for putting this together. One of the things that I've loved about the Farmers family is we want to help each other. Not every company is that way. Our competitors aren't that way, but we are, and I hope that we can always continue that culture through Farmers, where we can share ideas and help each other. Um, and I would also say to the agency force, when a friend of mine says, have a plan to succeed or have one to fail, but you can't have both. And so have a plan to really just go out and help a lot of people and make a bunch of money, and then figure out a good way to spend that money. Money's not evil. But when you're at work, and I do this, be at work, be present. I'm not, shopping on Amazon, or I'm not doing, I don't know, social media. I mean, I do check social media, but mostly for work. When you're at work, be at work and bust it. But when you're sitting there eating dinner with your family, be with your family. And you can do that. You can have that balance like I have, where when I'm, at my son's soccer game, or I'm, eating dinner with my family, that is what I'm doing at that moment in my life. And I can do that because I'm putting in the work when the work is needed. And so just commit to that. Commit to your business, give it your all. And then when you're committing to your family or your friends or your recreation, whatever it is you do, commit yourself to that. And then also, I have another friend. He says, hey, can you go home today and look your spouse or partner or children in the eye and say, man, I gave it all, coach. I gave it everything I had, man. I mean, from sun up to sundown, I busted it. And if you can't do that, then fix it. Go figure out a way to do more, and time block or whatever you need to do. But do that. And, and I hope that they're more successful than me or you, Dan, or Tim Cunningham, or anybody else. I want to see people above me on that leaderboard, because that means they're making money and helping people. So for what that's worth.
No, yeah, no, 100% agree. I mean, very well said, Hector. We could all do more. And why not give it our all? What else are we going to be doing anyways?
Yeah.
You don't want to be half pregnant in anything we do, and it's actually just a better way to not make money, but just in life in general, just the way to be. It's just going to give you more fulfillment and really be happy, in what we're doing. So
agreed.
Powerful words, Hector. I can't appreciate your time enough. This has been really great, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, connecting with you, seeing where you are with comparing numbers, and best wishes to you and your agency. Hope you. I'm glad you're feeling better, and speedy recovery all the way. That's what I wish for you guys. For you.
Appreciate it, Dan. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks, Hector.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.